So as of right now, what's the best handheld gaming PC? Just a year back, the choice was very simple. It was essentially the Ally, Steam Deck, and Legion Go. But today, as the field continues to grow in popularity, the competition is exponentially growing. So to help add some clarity, I went ahead and gathered 8 of the top handhelds, including some that aren't even released yet. And we're going to go ahead and rank them based off of their performance, value, and usability. And to help with this, I enlisted the help of my cousin, who himself is a very experienced PC enthusiast who has built numerous PCs himself.
What we got here, a classic ranking tier list.
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far on a lot of these. Really impressive with the RAM capacity from a start. Because these are all APUs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured, okay. That'd be really cool if one of these in the future would have dedicated graphics.
But you'd be surprised how good these APUs are.
Oh yeah. No, it's, because when you think about it, Nick, even consoles run off of APUs. Right? So
yeah.
like it's not a bad thing at all.
But I think that the future of these devices, this can be a whole nother video, is the ARM chips, like the Snapdragon X Elite.
Yeah, I was literally just gonna ask that. I said like,
I think once that is like optimized for gaming, because the whole ARM x86 that pivot has to happen. But once that does happen, I think that's a no-brainer for these devices. Let's begin with the Lenovo Legion Go right here.
Yeah.
Now this is the one that I had first-hand experience with. I've reviewed this. And I mean, I gotta say, I was blown away with it.
Yeah.
And especially when it came out like 10 months ago, last fall in 2023. This was at the time like the biggest handheld.
Yeah.
The screen here, I have a little cheat sheet of the specifications. Yeah. It's a quote-unquote massive 8.8-inch display. Since then, there's been lots of other large handhelds, and having a big display is just nice. And it's when you compare it to like an iPad Pro, 8.8 inches is still pretty small. One of the nice things about this device is I think it's one of the few, it is one of the few, that the Joy-Cons on the side are detachable.
Yes.
So it's literally a tablet once you do that.
Yeah. I had just watched your video on that again earlier today. I love what they did with the whole form factor, and the mouse integration is like the coolest damn thing I've ever seen.
So when it comes to Legion Go, just as a benchmark here, I mean, I gotta put it up towards A.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I really like what I'm seeing with this handheld here with that keyboard situation. Very unique looking.
And GPD makes really interesting devices.
Yeah.
They have a ton of very cool laptop, handheld, kind of hybrid stuff.
100%.
And this is running the latest. This is the 2024 model that's on pre-order right now, so it's not technically out for sale yet.
Yeah.
But this has the 8840U chip from AMD. And this is essentially the Z1 Extreme. It's like, in terms of the GPU, or whatever they call it, it's the 780M. So it's the exact same performance as the Z1 Extreme, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a great chip.
Nice.
One of the top choices. The screen here is 7 inches, so it is a small clamshell. It's not like you're holding a full-size laptop.
Yeah.
But where would you rank this GPD Win Mini?
So it's something that I would have to try firsthand. To be quite honest, and I'm gonna come out swinging at the beginning, I like the more like Nintendo Switchy feel of some of the other ones. I know two of them have the keyboard, and like again, like you said, I really like the presence of a keyboard, but like I think it just looks a little clunky. Maybe my opinion will change if I have it in hand, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most of these are the Nintendo Switch style.
Exactly.
So there is something to that.
Exactly. And I don't want to, like, just put the ones with keyboards at the bottom of the list, right? Like, I don't think it's a fair comparison, but...
I mean, it is expensive, too, but it has a good specification.
Exactly.
So, go ahead and drag it where you think it deserves to be.
I'm going to start it at around, like, a C tier.
But yeah, let's go over to the next one here. So, this one down here, very sleek looking. It's the... Wait, I got it right here. It's the OneXPlayer OneXFly.
Okay.
And this is categorized as mini because it's only a 7-inch display, same as the previous one. 120 hertz, so a nice high refresh rate, 1080p resolution, $1,000, so it's not budget. But this also has the latest AMD 8840U processor, so it's essentially the top of the line right now. 32 gigs of RAM, a decent sized battery, considering it's a 7-inch device.
Yeah.
And no keyboard, nothing fancy like that, but you can see it's a very sleek, like this would be very easy to throw into like a backpack and take with you and have a legit gaming device.
Yeah. And from what I see, just like from a high level, this looks like other than the screen size, again, I still think the Legion Go has an advantage because of screen size, but like this seems like a really nice overall package. We have a pretty high refresh rate display. We have the modern chipset, really good battery, and you have 32 gigs of RAM and a terabyte of storage. Like, it's checking almost every box for me, to be honest.
I think this is a solid B.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're both in the same agreement here. Solid B. Where it loses points is the price.
Yep.
Battery could be bigger and screen could be bigger, but some people like the small size, so it's certainly. I think it's a solid B.
Yeah. No, 100%. So now to move on to the MSI Claw. I like the look of this one. Again, this,
they went with something a little bit different than the black on black.
Exactly. I mean, this is like going to be divisive, and this is of course like everyone has their own opinion, right? It's like it's very subjective, but I kind of like this like bronze gold touch they have on it. And as far as the specs go, again, we have the first Intel chip, which time will tell how that is.
They're taking a risk there. It could it could differentiate this if it does have a performance boost over the 8840U. But that is yet to be proven. This model is supposed to come out September of this year, so right around the corner. And I mean, I like how they bumped up the display from the first generation, so now it's 8 inches.
Yeah.
Solid edge over a lot of these other ones. And the battery capacity, 80 watt hours. That's another thing they listen to with their customers.
Whoa, that's huge.
So we're beginning to see this in newer generations. They're really cranking up the battery capacity.
Yeah. And one thing I think with the chipset here, I feel like Intel has a lot to prove. I would be not shocked, but I'd be blown away if they don't finally start kicking up their game in this segment, because they really are losing market share, and especially as we get into this ARM era that's coming, I think it's important for them to really be upping. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic and say maybe that might be a really great path for them, and we'll say, but we have to test it to know.
Yeah, I mean, this new Ultra 200 line, the Lunar Lake chips, I mean, the Z1 Extreme is getting old at this point. I think it's well over a year old.
Exactly.
So it should be a better chip.
Yeah.
And if that's true, I mean, if I had to place this, I mean, we're getting really close to Legion Go here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the Lunar Lake is a little bit better than the Z1 Extreme, that could make this easily A tier.
Oh,
so
I'm going
to put it right up there.
I agree. I like it.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, and then next on the list, we have another one of these clamshells.
Yeah. I like this one better, though, brother. I gotta say.
You do?
The look of this.
Yeah, this one is very like Nintendo DS.
Yeah, which I like. That might be nostalgia or something talking, but
I think a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I think, but I also think that ergonomically, they did the right thing.
The joysticks are differently located. It's not like you're holding a laptop.
And also, what I like about it is that they still understand that this is a gaming handheld, and they put the joysticks and the other action buttons front and center. That's the key here. On the other one, the keyboard sort of takes that bottom important real estate. So I think it might be a little bit more cumbersome to play on that one than it is to play on this one.
Yeah, I think this definitely has the better design, more retro. And again, this thing still runs. It's a little clamshell thing, but you pull it out and it's full Windows 11 on it.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing. And the price, the thing here is this doesn't have the absolute latest AMD chipset.
I see.
It's 7840U.
Yes,
although it's almost indistinguishable in the benchmarks from the 8840U. It's a very minor upgrade.
Yeah.
But something to know, it doesn't have the latest chip.
That's fair. The spec seems like I feel like 64 gigabytes of RAM is really unnecessary with that chipset. Personally, to be honest, I'm thinking this. If the other one's at C tier, I think this lands probably at B tier. And what's keeping me away from A is just the data chipset. That's the only thing.
The data chipset. The battery also isn't absolutely massive. I think it's big enough to not really complain too hard about it. But yeah, I think B is where this belongs. I mean, the design is just so clean.
It is.
It'd just be fun to use.
It would be. And one question I have about these, you might know a little bit more, is can these just plug into like a USB-C power bank to extend the battery life, or is the draw?
Yeah, they all charge via USB Type-C.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, most of these are like the 60-watt range when it comes to charging.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nothing too extreme.
Nice.
Now, speaking of extreme, this next device is by far like the most out there, but I think it represents the future of the industry. So this is the OneXPlayer X1.
Yeah.
We previously covered their XFly, which is like a smaller version almost, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah.
But this one, there's a few configurations, but like the main one here, it's $1,090, so it's not cheap.
Yep.
It has the latest AMD 8840U processor, or there's also an Intel version with the 155H. But the thing I love here is the display, 10.95 inches.
Damn.
Whew.
Yeah. This would be a dream to play on, man. I could already tell. Like, just looking at this, I want it. Like, oh my God.
I want it too. And the Joy-Cons on the sides, you can see because the screen is so big, the Joy-Cons are not the same size.
Yeah.
But they're actually detachable, just like with the Lenovo Legion Go. So it's super nice. It transforms into like a regular tablet then. And if I can draw your attention down to the references here at the bottom of the page, to Exhibit B, you can see that this has a Microsoft Surface-style magnetic keyboard. So it legitimately turns into a laptop.
Man, brother, I want to review this bad. Let me tell you, this looks
I do
incredible.
too, and then you can pop off the Joy-Con so that it doesn't look so ridiculous, or keep it on. It's completely up to you.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-in-1 device. It's a gaming handheld, a tablet, and a laptop.
It's just what's most compelling about this one, and why the price doesn't bother me as much, is I genuinely think this could be a laptop replacement. I don't know. I'm telling you, this one it looks really good to me.
Battery's big. I mean, it could be bigger. It's 65 watt hours, but the RAM, storage, it's all very high. So, I mean, I think this is the future. So, I mean, I'm tempted to put this at S tier, especially now that there's an AMD version.
Yeah,
it's essentially as good as it gets.
I 100% agree with the S tier. I think in some capacity we have to review this one in the future because I think this is going to be an incredible device.
I mean, when I reviewed the Legion Go, this X1 is essentially what I was hoping for.
Yeah,
even bigger display, optional keyboard. You still have the detachable Joy-Cons, the latest chip. I mean, it's just, it's definitely S tier.
Yeah, no, 100%, no doubt. And now after that home run there, we have the Steam Deck. This one's always been tough for me. And it makes sense why the sales of these has never been that insane. I mean, granted, they're probably one of the best selling on this list just because they're Steam integration, right?
And it's actually affordable. Let's be honest, a lot of these have been quite expensive. They are in the range of laptop replacements.
And the important thing there you see is like this is like the most expensive one. You can get like the non-OLED one for like pretty cheap, I think, these days.
I think it's like $350.
Yeah, which is
these are like accessible.
Super
not going to replace your laptop, but a good secondary on the couch gamer.
Yeah. And that's what I think I like about it, and why I still think it has a place. I feel like the chip on this is probably really not great by modern standards. Like, and another.
If you come down to the references, Exhibit 1A. They should just give you a basic idea against the Z1 Extreme, which is what most of these other devices have had so far. So you can see it's competitive. The Steam Deck is the red color. But it is weaker.
And if you look on Steam, I don't know if you've been on much recently, but all games now, or most games, have like, is this game Steam Deck ready, right? Like, is it like, do they deem it acceptable to play? And a lot more games than you would think are not ready.
So, I mean, where do you want to put this one compared to the others?
So, it's tough for me. I'm thinking between like, to be honest, like C and D tier. The problem for me is I just don't know who this device is for. I get that it's cheaper and has really good Steam integration, which is a great thing. But again, it's also super limiting that if you have a game that's not on Steam, like what do you do, right? If it's like an Epic game or something like that. I just feel always, it's just like if you save up a little bit more money, if this is $550, if you save up less than $100 more, you get the Lenovo Legion Go and you have a Windows machine.
And then finally, we have potentially the most popular, it just hit the market, the latest ROG Ally X. The original Ally was one of the most popular handhelds right there along with the Steam Deck. And this X model, it has the same chip because the Z1 Extreme is just that good. There's really not anything significantly better as of yet. The price here, the beginning price, $800, still very attainable. It does, of course, go up from there. They stuck with a 7-inch display. We saw that a lot of the industry is moving towards larger displays, but here it's still focused on portability. they still managed to cram in a massive battery, 80 watt hours,
Yeah,
a lot of RAM,
That's great.
a lot of storage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as you're just okay with a 7-inch display, the Ally X is a quality pick, easily.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think, again, my only knock on this is I wish the screen was a little bit larger. And I think that with the real estate they have, I feel like they could have actually fit a bigger screen on this device without...
Less bezel.
With less bezel. I think this probably lands in A tier, and I think it might scoot the MSI and the Lenovo over, like this one being the top of A tier. I think this list is good because I really
can't wait to see what it looks like a year from now.
Yeah.
All the new devices, if they're trending bigger, or if they begin to switch over to ARM processors.
100%.
I'm super excited for this space. I'm going to be following it closely.
Yeah.
So that's our ranking. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. If you agree, disagree, I'll leave relative product links below the video for you guys to check out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.